Please welcome Andrey Sitnik.
Hello, everyone. My name is Andrey Sitnik. I am from Russia. I'm creating an Amplifier social media tool at Evil Martians company. Like in state officer always ask me, is it a real name of our company? And in our company, let me speak from my heart, we really like open source. And I want to show you one example. This is my first pull request. You know, when you do something first time, you really worry about it, about the result. And I have no answer for a year for my first pull request. After a year, the answer was, I close your pull request because my project became part of the Compass. It was not the answer that I expected. But you know, I was not really angry. Instead of this, we put all our energy to creating Autoprefixer. And so there is no, and so we replaced Compass. Or other example, the first version of the prefixer was based on Rework. So the original author of CSS post-processing idea was TJ. He was really brilliant developer. But Autoprefixer became bigger and bigger, and this is why we sent issues and pull requests to Rework. And in some moment, TJ stopped to listen users' needs. Of course, it's not what we expect. But again, we was not angry. We put all our energy to create a post CSS, to replace Rework. And so, maintainers, don't ignore your users. Like, if I see that somebody sent me a comment on GitHub, I just open it in the bar. I just open it and write, sorry, I am drunk. I will be sober after 2 or 3 days. Please ping me when I will be available. But I'm here. This is not CSS conference, yes? This is a React conference. And so if I'm here, it means that we need to replace something new. I'm completely not sure that my tool will replace this problem. But I'm really sure that some tool will replace these problems. I feel like revolution is coming. There is a lot of solution, and we really need to fix it. This is a modern front-end stack. Of course, it's awesome. I really like we are in Renaissance era. This is a modern backend stack, and it's awesome too. They have some stagnation, but because there is no way to improve the tools. But between these awesome stacks, the real problem is hiding. The client-server communication, AJAX requests. But AJAX request doesn't have a GitHub page. So it was not root for me. Why I hate AJAX request? But first, I don't hate AJAX requests for a simple application. We all here think about React, think about web applications, but most of websites are not applications. They are simple, static websites, and we should not blame users to not use trendy tools. Using a vanilla JavaScript or even jQuery and AJAX is very good if you make static websites. I will talk only about the real web application. So, for example, you have a simple web form, 2 fields. It's very easy to write styles. It's very easy to write a JavaScript code for render it. But then you need to write code to communicate with server. And this code, in my case, it's often bigger than the real form. Simple example, like fetch API as they show to us on conference. Very simple. But unfortunately, it could not be used in the real applications. Because in real applications, your internet is not immediately. You have a latency. And so you need to add a loader. And also, designer, of course, forgot about draw a loader. So you need to draw it yourself. But also, in real world, networking is not working great. you always have a problem. You will have errors. You need to care about these errors. And so this very simple example becomes bigger. But in real case, it's worse. This is your networking in your developing machine. Everything is fine. But in the real world, it will be completely different. And all that code with fetch, we wrote only for a simple case, but not for this case. And AJAX is not really useful for these cases, because complexity grows too dramatically if you need to really care about user needs. And of course, I didn't mention about many other problems, like the duplications. But also, I believe in better world. I believe in world when we all have live updates in our applications, when we all have offline first in our application, with be able to sleep in the night and not to spend the whole nights to implementing offline first. This is why I created Logux, to solve these problems, to reduce your code applications, to not care about networking, to have live updates and offline first out of box. And also, I really care about existing ecosystem. Like, we should not change databases on some base structure. So, what is the idea of Logux? Idea of Logux was created in St. Petersburg when we doing with Dan Abramov. We talk how we can merge Swarm.js into Redux, but let me start from beginning. What is Swarm.js? If you are creating some offline first system, you will know about edit conflicts when two users send a same record with a different state. And it is very, very difficult to merge it. Like, in this case, it's very hard to find what's going on. But if you have problem with algorithms, maybe the real problem is in your data structure. So if you will change your data structure, your algorithms become better. So if you want to have a good edit conflict algorithm, you should change your structure not to send a state, but set operations, what user really did. Like in this case, it's very easy to merge the data, to understand what's happened. We just need to put these arrays together and resort it by the time. That's all. And this is idea of event sourcing. It's a very popular idea right now. And in 2009, CRDT research project was created. It is a scientific paper about data types without any conflicts. Unfortunately, these data types have a lot of limits. But if you agree with these limits, you will not have any conflicts. And the best CRDT implementation in JavaScript was created by mad Russian scientist Viktor Grishenko in project Swarm.js. It's a really awesome project. I really recommend you to figure out. But when we talk about these things, you know, like lock is everywhere. In Redux, we have a lock. Not in Redux, maybe in DevTools, but of course. CRDT, we have a lock to lock list of operation. And also, in backend, we have a lock. For example, databases use oplock to make a replica. And so it was like, if you have lock everywhere, let's build a system on top of the single lock, and then we can connect a system by synchronizing this lock. So this is the idea of Logux. It is idea to merge Swarm.js and Redux. So how it works? We have a list of the actions on the client. You have it right now if you use a DevTools. So it's the same actions as you have in Redux. But also, we will have a list of actions in the server. And then all we need is to synchronize them. Of course, we will open the WebSocket, and then we will send a new actions from the client to server. Because it's very easy. Like every action has a number, and it's very easy to find what is the difference between the logs. But also, we can send actions from the server to a client. So you can create some action on the class server, and it will be immediately if client is online, send it to the client. And also, other client could send action to the server, and server will resend it to our client. So we have live updates out of box. But idea is very good when it's in your mind. But when you start to implement it, you will have problems. Because unfortunately, it's how real world works. For example, the first problem. The main idea of log is to have a same order. If an order is different, it will be disaster. It's impossible to debug the situation. So order must be same. Of course, the first idea is to order actions by a time. But time is very easy when it's on your watch. But in client-server system, we have a distributed system. We have different machines with a different time. So 3 simple questions. First questions. Second time will be always different from first time. Who thought that it could be different? It always will be different in the past, for example. No, everyone? Of course, you understand that it is a tricky questions. Yeah, right now our CPU is very fast, and so we have a lot of actions in 1 millisecond. Next question is more tricky. Next time step will be always bigger than previous. Unfortunately, not. There is a cases when next time could be smaller than previous time. The reason is very simple. It's time synchronization. In any time, the daemon could be started, and it could change a time. The main problem is a leap second. For example, there was a very big problem in CloudFlare because of this leap second. And my favorite questions. I had a very big problem in production because of this problem, but I can't speak about it while I'm sober, because it's very embarrassing. So, of course, client has a different time with a server. It's a normal situation. But could be a difference more than hour. Unfortunately, it could be. The problem is not with the time zones itself, because, of course, timestamp is time zone free data type. The real problem is a wrong time zone. Unfortunately, a lot of users, when they go to a different place, for example, they visit London, they will not change the time zone because it's too tricky idea. They will change a current time. And so they change the timestamp, and difference could be bigger. And so if we want to order our log by the time, we need to take care about all this problem. And this is why in Logux time it's very tricky. It contains milliseconds and also unique node ID. So the first part is unique. Also, we take care about problem with leap seconds, and we use a third number for cases when we have a same timestamp on same machine. So tricky things. But it doesn't solve problem with a different time. This is why server sent a current time to a client. Client calculate a round trip and calculate a time difference. Of course, this time difference will not be 100% accurate, but mistake will be around a second, and so it's OK. And of course, the client uses this time diff to change a time during the synchronization process. Second problem. My family lives in China. I very like to visit my mother and brother, But unfortunately, Chinese internet is very bad. Of course, they have a censorship, but I'm not talking about the censorship. If you are accessing illegal websites, half of the packages will not return to you. As you know, it's very hard to access any websites in China. And so this is why it's very painful for me to visit my mother. As a result, in this internet, but Chinese internet is great for testing networking, because it's like a worst internet in the whole world. As a result, because of this problem with packages, connection could be closed without a close event. And this is why in Logux we have a ping commands. This is the only way how we can be trusted in connections. And so if Logux shows that connection is available, it means that at least it will be available about 5 seconds ago. So you can show the user could be trusted in the latest data, that it is latest really data. And third problem. This problem was really depressed me. Of course, we have list of logs, and we need to put it into the indexed database to be offline first. But when we have separated browser tabs with the same storage, it could have a conflict. And then I was, fuck, I don't know what to do. I don't want to be a programmer anymore. But you know, sometimes your problems could become your benefits. And to solve this problem, we create a very interesting idea. One tab, when tab was executed, tabs will be executed, they start an election. And they elect a leader tab. And only a leader tab keep a connection to the server. And this is why a server has less connections. And also, we don't have a conflict problem. But also, with a single leader tab connection, we finally will solve problem with a different notification count in Facebook. But you know, front end, when I went to front end, I thought that I will write some simple CSS and maybe a few JavaScript lines. And now I implementing craft algorithm in JavaScript. It's not what I thought when I went to front end. Front end right now is very complex thing, unfortunately. This is not all problems that we solve. We solve many other problems, but other problems are boring. Distributed system problems, ask me in after party if you really care about this stuff. So how Logux is really looks in the code? Because you know, talk is cheap, code is real. Logux library with a Redux is a very small, about 20 kilobytes, and it provides, say, a Redux compatible API. You just need to replace create store to create Logux store and pass options, like URL or other problems. But also, if your friend don't use a Redux or React, you can use a low-level library to connect Logux to any system. It's not Redux only. And with Logux Redux, you have 3 types of actions. Of course, you have good old dispatch actions. It will be a local actions. It will not be synchronized. It will be only in the current tab. Also, you have a cross-tab synchronization for free because this leader and follower tab system. So you can send some actions to other tabs. But my favorite, the whole idea, is server actions. It's actions with a special flag, like sync true, and these actions will be synchronized to the server. So instead of making AJAX requests, you just push actions to your Redux, and this action will be on server. And main idea that you should not take care about user experience, user interface. Logux will take care about it for you. For example, you don't need to show a loader. Use optimistic UI. Like if user create actions, don't wait answer from a server. Apply it to interface immediately. If server like this one, it's a very good idea of optimistic UI. UI without a loaders, because you know loaders right now it's the main enemy of users. Of course, if server will have some problem, it could send undo actions to you, and state will be fixed. And Logux has a special package called Logux status with all UX things. And for example, it could show widgets about state synchronization, like we don't have a connection or update your page. Also, Logux status will update your icon because it's cool. And of course, it will warn users that don't close the browser because you don't not all actions were synchronized, like wait until you will have an internet. But of course, if user will not have a good internet right now, it could close your website. And when it will be opened, all non-synchronized actions will be restored from index database. But also, if you want, you can do all pessimistic UI, for example, for a payment, for a billing form. But in this case, you should create not actions of doing something, but action of asking server to doing something. For example, ask to pay. And on this ask to pay actions, you show a loader, and then server, when server will finish a payment, he will add other actions. This action will be synchronized to the client, and you will show that money gone, all money gone. The server. Unfortunately, you need a special Logux server, because you need to log on this server. Right now, we provide Node.js framework, the same options. And in this framework, you handle the actions from the client or from other sources. Of course, we take care about security, and in these actions, you can do anything you want. You can ask any databases, even some old one, like Access databases, if you use it in websites. Or, for example, you can send any HTTP request, everything that you want. And also, in the server, you can add actions. And these actions will be synchronized to the client. So the Logux server is not really different from current HTTP server, like RESTful servers. Instead of URL, you have action type. Instead of form, you have action object. And the main difference in HTTP servers like Express.js, all requests happens right now. If you got this request, it happens right now. But in Logux, these actions could be created in offline. For example, an hour ago, and only right now, user goes online. But if you have a legacy website, like legacy backend, it's not a problem, because you can do anything you want in action handling. For example, you can send HTTP request for your old backend. It's not a problem. And Logux protocol is open, and my colleagues from Martians really want to create Go and Lang versions, but I stopped them because protocol is not stabilized right now. So Logux, it replaces AJAX request and RESTful on this client and server by synchronizing a list of Redux or any other actions. Why it's important? Because it could reduce your code. You should not care anymore about networking and user experience. And also it brings lots of updates, optimistic UIs, and it takes care about your old ecosystem. You can still use Redux, you can still use your MySQL or Postgres. But unfortunately, all project has trade-offs, and we should speak about the trade-offs openly. The first problem, don't use Logux in simple websites. If you use a simple websites with a simple networking, Logux will not be useful for you because, of course, Logux has a complexity. The main problem, you should think about log cleaning, action cleaning from your log. And so if your site is very simple, your complexity will be grows because of the Logux. But if your application has a lot of networking stuff, do a lot of stuff with the server, in this case, Logux will be useful for you because Logux will take care about networking and complexity will be reduced. So use it on the real big websites. And main problem. It is a very young project, and unfortunately, we have only a preview, like some prototype to test a synchronization protocol, and we should write a channel, server channels, documentation, some of the stuff. But it's not so under construction. We use it on our websites, and also we have a lot of contributors right now. But if you want some solution right now, use Relay. Because Relay is great. It's a great idea. It's so great idea that we really want to steal API to the Logux. Because that idea that you have wrapper accessing a data is a very good idea. But in my opinion, Relay has a little problem with mutation. This is why we will brings wrappers API, but not a mutation API. But if you will move to Relay, you will make half of migration work to Logux. If you need to edit the data offline first, use these great databases, universal databases, like Gun.js is especially very nice. And if you need a conflict-free data types right now, use, of course, Swarm.js, because it's so awesome that we started Logux, because we want Swarm and Redux integration. That's all. But if you're interested in Logux, of course, subscribe to Twitter to get new news. Yeah, questions? 1 second. I need water. Oh, yeah, it's a good question about bronc data from the client. I thought about it. I don't have solution right now. But my idea to have some window to not allow clients create actions more than current time. Like server will not accept actions with a time more than current. There is some problem with time zones, with other cases, so we can speak about it in after party with some drinks. Next questions. How scalable is Logux? Good questions. Right now, it is only a single server because it's a young project. But we created for scalable because this is why our protocol is not a client-server protocol. Logux protocol is peer-to-peer protocol. So you can connect servers with the same Logux protocol and make several servers, and then several servers will have the same log. So we thought about it, and we have a solution. We will bring it in next versions. Next version. How do you choose a leader tab? Technically, not, because there is some problems. What if a user will close a tab? Or what if will tab is going down, like because of the memory problem in Chrome? Technically, we use some algorithm inspired by Raft algorithm to choose a leader tab. This is why leader tab could not be a first tab, for example, if you close the first tab. But it depends. We use some algorithm similar to Raft. Again, we can speak about it with Odrinsk. I have a time, yep. Is it worse to keep all WebSocket connection opened instead of going HTTP requests? Unfortunately, if you really want left updates, only web connections is a way for you. But technically, you don't need all WebSocket connections because you will have only one WebSocket connection. Of course, if you have a problem with this, you should not use any WebSocket solutions. It depends. OK, next questions. Is Logux compatible with React Native? Unfortunately, project is very young. I'm not sure, but the one guy from Russia, he created a client for React Native. He already did a store for React Native, but I'm not in this situation because I need to finish the core. Next questions. How does Logux handle synchronization state on initial page load? Good questions. Technically, Logux is not a database. It's a framework. So it's just a list, and you could put anything that you want in this case. The first, so how you can handle it? Of course, you need to handle it by your own, or use some library that could be written. First case, you could use a good old initial state for Redux, the same way as you do in the current Redux applications. But also, if user already visited this website, it will have a cache in his index a database. So you can use this sync too. Or for example, you could ask a question. You could ask a server, send me a latest state. Of course, Logux is based on operation, but it's not a problem to send a state. You can ask a state from server, and server will send this state, the initial state for client. This is a 3 ways as I see it. OK, next questions. Is there a concept of cancelable actions? I'm not sure what's cancelable actions and what's the concept. Could you please come to me and ask questions on after party or after the talk? Do you swap leadership from background tab? Nope. If tab is become a leader, it will keep the leadership until it will be closed. So yeah. How does it feel with GraphQL? GraphQL is a language, and you send it through some channel. Logux is a channel. It's a different channel. It's not an AJAX request, but it's the same channel. So they're not. If you want, you can send GraphQL through Logux channel. And this is the idea why we, in next releases and some future releases, don't believe me, may create some relay-like API to send GraphQL through Logux channel, but it's only a future idea. But this is how it's connected. Oh, next question is good. How does Logux deal with authentication? Logux has a special parts and protocol for credentials and a special callback to check a user data. So you can implement any authentication that you want. You have open structure, put everything you want in connection message. The only limits that authentication must be finished on connection command. And 30 minutes. Do I have more time? Yes? I can ask more questions. Yeah. OK. How do you it's a very complicated word, sorry. Differentiate from client-only Redux actions which do not need to synchronize. If you use dispatch action, if you use dispatch method, it will be a client-only actions. To add a server actions, you need to use a different method. Add method. This method had a second argument with the action metadata. And in this metadata, you can set some special flag, like sync true. And Logux will use it to understand that this action should be synchronized to the server. How do you avoid needing to download all the data on startup? Again, Logux is a channel. It's up to you. Or you should create some library on top of Logux to take care about this stuff. This is a channel. You can send anything you want. Which WebSocket library is used in Logux? Good questions. Right now, it's just VS library. But we really want to migrate to Nano VS. It's called Nano VS, yes? But there is some compatibility problem. So right now, it's VS. If you're interested to change WebSocket library, please ask me. We will think about it.